Everyone ready? All right, the time is now 5:17. We're going to call to order the Tuesday, February 16th, 2021 Virtual Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Here.
Alderman Rivera,
Present.
Alderman Seager,
Present.
Alderman Moiseo will not be attending tonight for the record, and Alderman Newsome.
Present.
You have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you. Item C, approval of the minutes. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Rivera, to approve the minutes from January 19th, 2021 Virtual Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye. Motion carried. Deputy Clerk, are there any public comments for the Finance and Purchasing Committee?
Madam Chair, there were no public comments for the Finance and Purchasing Committee.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 2, new business. Item A, motion to authorize the proper city officials to extend the agreement with Michael Hill on November 18th, 2019 for the purpose of recording, editing, producing, and delivering public meetings to May 2021, and to add an additional $22,780 in spending authority, bringing the revised contract value to a not to exceed amount of $102,720. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Seager, second by Alderman Kirkwood. Are there any questions to this motion? There's some additional work that Mr. Hill is doing now since we are doing virtual meetings. It's listed in your packet. They're doing editing, digital copies airing on Comcast, and city councils on Comcast only meetings, edit and digital copies for the city's YouTube channel, live streaming all the meetings. And so that's why there's an additional cost. Are there any questions to this? Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried.
Madam Chair, I believe that Alderman Florian may have had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Alderman
I'm
Flor-
sorry. I know I'm not part of the committee. I try to wait and make sure nobody on the committee has any questions, but I'm just curious if we have sent this work out to bid in the past, and if the amount of money we're spending on it, if we should be trying to bid it out at some point to make sure we're getting the best price.
I just did want to clarify, we did also extend the duration of this contract. That's another reason for the cost. It initially, I believe, expired, I want to say in December. So we did add to extend it through the end of, through May. I am not, to my memory, we have not gone out to bid or RFP for these services, but that's certainly something that I can pass along to the mayor's office or the PR department. I believe they're the ones that usually coordinate these services.
Do you know how many years Mr. Hill has been doing this? I know it's been several years.
I'm not, I've been here for more than a decade. I know he's been the one that's provided the services for my tenure here and before, but I'm not certain the duration of time.
Okay. All right, that's something that we can look at, Ms. Alderman Florian.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
Madam
Okay.
Chair, may I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
Yes, if you to answer your question, yes, we have been doing this since approximately late 2002. I think if you remember, actually, I think this was before your time. We actually started over across the street or across the way in, pardon me one second here. Actually, we started in the old city council and chambers. So we've been doing this for, unfortunately, quite some time. And we've been always through contact with looking for my words, the the city clerk's office. So city clerk, Madam Janet Kelly was always our point of contact in a sense.
Okay, is this Mr. Hill?
Representative, I'm his son.
Oh.
My name is Daniel.
Oh, okay, Danny. All right, thank you. Thank you for that information. Okay, we're gonna move on to item B. Item B, motion to increase spending authority with Mckenna and Associates in the amount of $22,000 for the purposes of economic development and financial advisory services. This will be an additional project that Mckenna has assisted the city with this fiscal year, revising authorized payments to the vendor to a new total amount of $72,000. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Rivera. And this was with the enterprise zone, and is Ms. Kisher Lepper on? She can answer any questions if anyone has any regarding this with the solar panels up at Yeoman Landfill. All right, being none, roll call.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item C, motion to authorize up to $35,000 in spending authority and to approve a section 2-458 subsection I-7 good faith waiver for citywide purchases related to the supplies and equipment from Uline for the May 1st, 2020 to April 30th, 2021 fiscal year. The original amount was $25,000 and we're adding an additional $10,000. Motion by Alderman Seager, second by Alderman Rivera. Are there any questions to this motion? Alderman Rivera?
Is there a reason why we have two vendors instead of one? Because the next one is for Amazon, basically for pretty much the same thing.
Is Amazon supplying that, or how was that working, Ms. Tina?
Sure. So we did attach documentation explaining both of these. The Uline one, we have used Uline for several years for purchases such as prisoner bags, cleaning supplies, things like that. We never usually get anywhere near the $25,000. However, at the onset of COVID-19, trying to procure PPE such as masks and gloves and even cleaning supplies was increasingly difficult. We were trying to obtain 3 quotes, but vendors would not do business with you unless you were an established customer of theirs already. This was, April, May, June. So we have not exceeded the $25,000 at this point with Uline, but we expect to exceed the $25,000 with Uline at this point in order to keep purchasing things like gloves, PPE, some supplies we need for our facilities maintenance in our police department. We do now get 3 quotes when we're buying PPE. The supply chain has opened up quite a bit for that, but this would allow us to continue using Uline for products, prisoner bags being the largest one that we're running short on right now. But that's why you're seeing this. Normally, we would not go over that 25,000. Same with Amazon. Our IT department uses Amazon Capital quite a bit for things like laptops or other types of supplies. It's a commercial account that we have with Amazon. They know not to charge a sales tax because we're a government body. Same thing, because of COVID, we had to buy laptops and hotspots and things like that in order to enable employees to work remote. And that's why we're coming to City Council and asking for permission to go over that 25,000 this fiscal year only. But again, we do quote things out. These just 2 vendors usually have the best pricing.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item D, motion to authorize up to $45,000 in spending authority and to approve a section 2-458 subsection I-7 good faith waiver for citywide purchases related to supplies and equipment from Amazon for the May 2020 to April 30th, 2021 fiscal year. Motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions? It was just answered by Ms. McKelsky. Are there any more questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item E, motion to approve the City of Waukegan 2021 share of the Fountain Square of Waukegan Common Area Expense Budget, an allocation of $86,121 to be paid in quarterly installments. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Seager, second by Alderman Rivera. And in your packet, there's a lot of information regarding this. If, I don't know, is that Noel can break that down a little bit for us?
Sure, glad to. This is our annual expense for common area maintenance at Fountain Square. This is basically similar to a homeowners association. If you're part of a homeowners association, you have dues that go back to the association to cover the common areas within that. This is the same thing for Fountain Square. It's based on the percentage of land owned. Once we no longer own any land at Fountain Square, we will no longer have this expenditure. This amount is slightly lower than last year, which was pretty similar to the prior year. They're working hard to control the costs there and keep them from going up further. So this year's number is $86,121. We pay that in quarterly installments.
Okay. Any more questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item F, motion to authorize additional spending authority of $33,654 to Bowler Construction for the water treatment plan high service pumps contract awarded on October 19th, 2020 for $2,197,300 for a new and revised contract amount of $2,230,954. This project is funded using water and sewer revenue bonds. Going to take a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions to this motion? Being none, roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item G, motion to authorize additional spending authority of $22,893.60 to Ozinga for the purpose of annual commodities contract awarded on August 17th, 2020 for $51,000 for a new and revised contract amount of $73,893.60. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Kirkwood. Are there any questions to this motion?
So why did this go up?
Is Mr. Hewitt on? Here he
Yes,
is.
he
Of
is.
course I'm here. What can I tell you? Yes, what happened is that this was for sidewalks, curbs, and we use it for slurry. And originally the 22,000 was basically spent prior to the contract that we received from Ozinga. So then it had to be added to for that total. For work we did with sidewalks, curbs, like down by the post office, things like that.
So they had spent the 22,000 prior to us getting, going out for bid and
Contract.
going out for bid and being bidded this contract? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, and then they had to add the 22,000 to the original contract?
Correct.
So the bids that we received, were they less in total?
What happened is prior to us, we put out for bid, prior to going out for bid, we spent the 22,893 earlier in the year before the bid was awarded. And once the bid was awarded, it was the same contract we had already used. It's
with Ozinga.
Okay, that's why it was for difference in price. Basically the same price they gave us, but after the award was, we awarded the contract, so.
Wait,
That kind
so,
of makes sense to you?
well, okay, so we had some work done, we owed them money, and then we went out
For bid,
for
and they got the
bid,
bid.
and they got the bid,
Yeah,
but they had already done the work.
No, if I may, Mike, if I may jump in.
I'm trying
If they had stayed under $25,000 with this vendor, it would not have required city council approval. Normally, they wouldn't do this much work with sidewalk and slurry, so they would stay under that amount. Once it was determined that they were going to need more of this work done, then they went out to bid. Ozinga won that bid, but those of us in finance that are audited in the legal department said, you have to show what was already spent in order to avoid the appearance of stringing, of having two separate contracts with the same vendor for the same products, commodities, or service.
Okay.
So had they not done additional sidewalk work, they wouldn't have gone out to bid. You wouldn't have seen this, but they did go out to bid. That was kind of a separate deal. But because they had already done some work with Ozinga, we're adding it together to be as transparent as possible to show that this vendor will receive these $74,000 in work in the fiscal year. Is that right, Mike?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? Alderman Taylor.
We're paying this for concrete, but like, what does D-Lane Construction do when they do sidewalks? Do we not get the concrete from D-Lane? We get it from here?
They may sub out to get the concrete. I'm sorry,
What
Mike, were you
happens
gonna
is,
answer that?
yeah, go ahead. What happens is basically Ozinga is a provider of concrete, slurry, and other products that we use. D-Land basically was contracted to do sidewalks by the city under the bonds. This wasn't bond work. This was us going out and doing other sidewalks that needed to be done in the city.
Okay.
And we're going to probably next year do the same thing, because that way we're keeping the program going. All right,
But we'll go out to bid earlier, right, Mike?
I'm hoping to.
So Ozinga provides the commodities where D-Land actually does the work. But we
For
did the
that, but
work
not-
in-house.
We did the work in-house. This is our expenditures in-house.
Oh, okay.
And we do a lot of our own curbs, like if there's a water main break, and also sidewalks around there. They also use some of this as slurry, which goes around the repair. So, all right.
Okay. Any more questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item H, motion to authorize additional spending authority of $33,135.37 to water products for the purpose of annual hydrants, contract awarded on July 6, 2020 for $45,000 to a new and revised contract amount of $78,135.37. Motion by Alderman Kirkwood. Second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions to this motion? Alderman Rivera.
Yeah, okay, so we awarded a contract for 45,000 and we're almost doubling it.
Yes, what happened is when we did the water lining on Lewis Avenue, okay, they were going, we ended up doing a lot of the contracting work to save money. So what we had to do was, and which we didn't know at the time, was by doing the water lining, we had to replace all the hydrants and all the T's and some valves, which we didn't know was going to happen when we decided to, when we got the contract for doing the water lining. Remember, we did the lining on it with the plastic lining inside without taking it apart. So what happened was, because of the certain hydrants, you couldn't, the connections had to be replaced and the hydrants had to be replaced as well. So that's what happened there. So we have all new hydrants down Lewis Avenue along, some of them we replaced were I believe some of the valves in that were from 1958 or 60. So that was what it's for. Okay.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, Mike. So when we go out for this, like you said, some of this stuff is ancient. There are unknowns. This is part of an unknown.
Of course.
Yeah, this was we've never done this water lining. It's always been total replacement or we've repaired. But by doing this, the plastic that they use, we thought by the size and diameter we would be able to get away with. They'd be able to cut it. But what happened was it was so old, we had to replace the T's and the valves, and it turned into more. Of course, what happens with water, it turned into more than we anticipated. But we did save money by us doing it, because if the contractor would have done it, they always charge surcharges and more money for everything. So, and we did most of the work, which was good. We learned something, and it was a very interesting concept. Let's put it that way. Okay.
All right, thank you.
I'd also like to add that funds will be charged to line item 555-91602-7043. That is a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Seager. Any more questions to this item? Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye. Motion carries. Item I, motion to authorize the proper city officials to approve payment to Capanell and Sons for an emergency water main break on Sheridan Road. Work that was done on Greenwood and South Water Street for section 2-458, subsection I-2, which was a bona fide operating emergency for the amount of $14,766.40. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Rivera. Mr. Hewitt and I talked about this earlier today. Are there any questions to this motion? Alderman Rivera.
Yeah, when did this occur?
That was your ward. Remember we had that that leak in the center of the road, and we thought it was the park districts because their service line came in there, and when Campanella, which the park district hired them, when they opened it up, we found it was our service underneath.
No, yeah, no, I know, yeah, I remember. But what I'm asking is the date of when this occurred.
Oh, gosh,
yeah, because and the point I'm getting to, Mike, it seems like this was a while ago. I've been expecting this.
I was trying to clarify the dollar amount before I brought it to council. We had the other issue was on Water Street, and I wasn't sure how they worked it. And by the time I just got the actual bill and went over clarification on all the products they use. Okay.
Okay.
Because remember, we didn't hire them originally. The park district hired them, so they got the bill to pass on to us for it. So it took a little longer. All right. And that was unusual. We were hoping it was theirs and it wouldn't cost us anything, but we did get a real good price on both. So, and then Water Street was one where they were working there for the projects that they're putting up. They're doing all that reconstruction and they're putting all that new housing units off of Water Street and Genesee, I believe it is, or Sheridan, whatever. Anyways, they were there and our main broke like 10 feet away. So it was actually perfect. They were there able to dig it up and fix it right then. So, all right. That was the one I had problems with the pricing because it was so cheap. And it sounds terrible, but they didn't have to mobilize. They were right there. Everything worked out for us. So we saved money. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alderman Florian.
So the way this reads on the agenda, like it's one water main issue, but it's really three different ones. Is that what I'm hearing?
Two. It's two.
Okay.
There's
So
actually
it's
the real
Sheridan and Greenwood is one and water is the other.
And South Water Street. Yes. Okay. There's
Okay.
two water
Well,
main
it just
breaks.
says an emergency water main break. So it's confusing that it sounds like it's one. I wondered how it could be so far
All
apart.
right. Okay. Thanks.
More questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item J, motion to authorize the proper city officials to extend a contract with Frank J. Furlan, PELS, as a consulting civil engineer for professional services per section 2-458 subsection I-4 for an amount not to exceed $90,000 for the May 1st, 2021 to April 30th fiscal year 2022. Motion by Alderman Kirkwood. Second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions to this motion? Alderman Rivera.
Yeah. I understand that Frank is an integral part of Public Works at this point, and he's been there for many, many years. And every time this item comes up, I bring up the fact that eventually a replacement will have to be found, and there's a lot of knowledge that needs to be transferred over. And it seems like every year, yeah, we know we need to do it, but we don't take any actions towards making that happen. And here we are again, faced with, making a commitment, which I don't mind making a commitment. What I do mind is, not preparing ourselves for what happens afterwards. We're going to be at a loss with a great resource, and we're not passing any of this knowledge along.
I totally agree.
I had the same conversation earlier with the mayor, and the plans were to phase in a civil engineer, but with COVID and all that stuff happening, it just haven't come to fruition. But that is the plan, to get a whole engineer department, I hope, in the very near future, as soon as we can get out of this pandemic. We need to get a civil engineer. Well, the whole department is what we really need, an engineer department that can handle a lot of this stuff. And because I think that the amount of money that we're spending, we could have a engineer department. So.
Well, and that's a great point. But again, here we are. I believe this is the third time I've made this vote, and it's the third time that I bring up the fact that, we haven't even begun the process. We need to start the process. And I understand that we are under, COVID guidelines, but that does not stop us from trying to secure long-term resources for our community. I mean, this is, and again, Frank may decide to retire after this year, and what happens then? We'll be stuck.
I hope
after talking with Frank, he probably, this may be his last year. We've had long discussions, and he did say that in the event that we do get an engineer, that he would be coming back periodically, or would always be there for questions and things we needed.
Well, okay, and I think that even raises more urgency with that statement that you just made, Mike. I mean, this is something that we definitely have to, step it up immediately. I'm sorry, I'm taking all this time, and Alderman Kirkwood has something to add.
Alderman Kirkwood?
I agree with you, Alderman. But I think the thing that we also have to remember is that in terms of being financially responsible, because certainly ever since I've been on the council, I've talked to Tina as well as to the mayor of the amount of money that we're spending on outside consultants. But as a council, we need to come together and bite the bullet and do this, because as you stated, we're going to be caught in a real tough spot if we don't look at trying to hire someone who can absorb that knowledge now and at least bring on one person. And we all must agree, all 9 of us must agree to do that to get the ball rolling. Because Lord forbid that something happens and then we're in a lurch because we didn't follow some directions. So we need to bring on at least one person that can take that knowledge and continue to pass it on till we get to the point where we do get a total engineering department, but at least have someone who can absorb that knowledge. And I think that, within the next month or so, I think that we need to approach the mayor, to look at the dollars that it would cost, and we need to start trying to do that, because when you get up in the age, we don't know what's going to happen, and someone could say they're going to come back. We just don't know. We're fortunate to have someone with disability, but how long? So that's my concern. I think that we need to stop talking about it. We need to start doing something about it.
Alderman Taylor.
I agree. Actually, we started looking for someone a long time ago, well before COVID. And I don't know if it was a salary issue, but we just weren't able to get somebody interested in the job. But for what we're paying out in these contracts, and 9% of it, we could have our own engineer on staff, and we need to. I think Mr. Hewitt would agree with that it's very crucial for us to have our own people and this knowledge be passed before we lose it. But it's been a long process. I mean, as long as I know, since at least 2017, we have talked about this. We were, as far as I know, we put out, I think our human resources person can tell us about how we advertised for it, but we just didn't get applicants interested in the job. So we need to talk about how we're going to make that appealing to get somebody in there to do that.
Just to clarify, I believe the position you're recalling was the water superintendent that was recently. There was an external search for that, and there was some difficulty in getting candidates. We did ultimately end up being able to promote from within an excellent candidate. The city engineer position was last funded in fiscal year 2018. That has not been a budgeted position in the budget starting in fiscal year 19.
Right. I thought we did look for an engineer in 2017, though.
That's 2017. Okay, yes, that's probably correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So Tina, can you approach the mayor? Because I think that there's a number of the aldermen that would like to have this happen. And I know that we're in a budget deficit, but we need to be proactive instead of reactive right now. So if we could get a cost of what it would, what it costs to get someone in here as soon as possible, bite the bullet, with the approval. And I think there's enough of us, on this right now that would approve that, and yes, we're in a deficit, but we're doing it so that we don't run into a problem down the road, that we don't have that knowledge that we need when something happens.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So can we, I mean, I know this is an item that we are going to approve, but can we make the search for Frank's replacement something that we can bring up at every single meeting that we have from now on with the finance? At least we can get some sort of updates.
I would prefer, with all due respect, if that would be something that would instead be assigned to our HR director. I believe that Ms. Jones may be on, but that would probably be something more appropriately handled by HR. I will assist her and work with her, but as far as salary searches, job descriptions, if you're talking about an in-house position, I would think that'd probably be more appropriate for Ms. Jones to handle.
Agreed. But what I'm saying is that as the Finance and Purchasing Committee, if we can keep this as an item that we receive some sort of an update where we're at in the search. Not that we're going to define the search, but are we moving forward?
Well, I would like to see someone possibly hired or come in as a temp that's an engineer to work alongside Mr. Frank Furlan, so that they can glean from him and get as much information as they can regarding what's happening in our community because it's unique. And he has been here for many years with Waukegan and North Chicago, and he knows everything that's going on underground, above ground, and he's still in his right mind. So we need to get as much information from him that we can at this time. So I would like to see, maybe going and getting a temp or whatever, temp to perm or whatever we need to do that could possibly work along with Mr. Frank Furlan.
Is Miss Jones on this call?
She was, I don't think she is now.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Is it possible to keep this as an ongoing discussion within this committee?
I think it's fine to leave it as a discussion item. I would like to approve it, and
Oh, no, absolutely. But I believe that the search
Right.
is what because again, this is like the third time, that we've had this discussion.
Right.
And we can, and at least if we begin the action and continue it, we see some progress and something gets done.
Right. Alderman Taylor?
Is there a way in the meantime that, I know we have some paper trails of some of the things, but is there a way that we can get Mr. Furlan on video or something that can record some of this stuff, why we have the information? I know, like I said, there's some records of in pencil kind of things, but I think we need a little bit more accuracy, and if that could come through videotape or whatever process in the meantime, is that something we should consider?
What we have here, okay, with working with Frank for the 3 years, has been fabulous for me. I've learned a lot and even taught him a few things because I've been around in areas he hadn't been. But yes, he's given us a lot of his records. So if anything, whoever comes in, if he can show them where things are, what he has, I mean, he has abounds. We have filing cabinets full of records that he had in his business and gave them to us and are here. So if anything, whoever comes in, if they knew where those files were or how he worked with those files, it would be a big asset.
Okay, that's good news to know that we have a lot of his information here at the city that we can reach to if necessary.
Yeah.
Alderman Kirkwood and then Alderman Seager. You're on mute, Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that one of the things that I've heard is that we certainly need to get the HR department and also approach the mayor in terms of getting this rolling so that, there's two entities that we need to find out the cost that it would cost us, whether we do a temp, someone that we're going to eventually hire, or hire someone that will shadow him and learn the job with the understanding that we will eventually have our own engineering department, and then also make sure that HR is totally the one that is working up all the details for that. But we certainly need to know what is the going rate for a person, because it will certainly add to our deficit. So I would just like to make sure that we agree that we will put that forth to the mayor, and hopefully the rest of the council will be willing to support that, knowing that it will add to the deficit.
Okay, Alderman Seager?
Yes, I agree with Alderman Kirkwood and you and the rest of the aldermen. On the job training, an engineer and for this position is very hard to find. I know it's happened in the past with the company I worked for. Very hard to find. But I'd like to see someone from within Public Works be assigned with Frank and start learning the ropes. That's my suggestion. I mean, it's just one.
Yes,
Thank you.
it's always nice if we can do within somebody that's already in the department that can work with Mr. Furlan and get as much knowledge as possible. But we throw around some ideas and things, and hopefully we can just start moving forward from today to see what we can do as far as bringing this to fruition, because we really do need an engineer. All right, are we ready for a roll call on this item, Jay?
Okay, Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item K, motion to approve $201,834 to be dispersed, to YCRG Trust for the City of Waukegan's share of the 2021 cash call required for ongoing engineering and maintenance on the closed Yeoman Creek landfill. Motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions to this motion? This is something we do every year, this call, and I guess it'll be from now on. So, all right, any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item L has been removed. Item M, motion approving a resolution reallocating 2021 volume cap to the village of Buffalo Grove, Illinois, to allow for the city of Waukegan's participation in the private activity bond clearinghouse pool facilitated by the Lake County Partnership of Economic Development. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yeah,
What happened with L?
it was taken off the agenda.
That was the one we had printed for Alderman Newsome on Wednesday or Thursday. There was an item that did not need to go to committee.
Oh, okay. So it was only on my agenda. Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Well, I have it on, well,
You
Okay.
have it?
L is not on the final posted agenda.
was that a resolution with Village of Buffalo Grove?
No, that
No.
is now L.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
It
okay.
was M on the printed hard copy we printed for Alderman Newsome before we finalized the agenda.
Got it.
Oh, okay. Sorry for the confusion. Okay. Motion to authorize the Director of Planning and Economic Development to make formal application for a grant with the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, CMAP, Local Technical Assistance, LTA Resource, Opportunity Impact, ROI program. This grant is for technical assistance with no anticipated expenditure of funds. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Rivera. Are there any questions to this motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Is this my O or is it your M, N? It's my O, so. Motion to authorize the building commissioner to make formal application for a grant with Illinois Housing Development Authority, IDA, Abandoned Residential Property Municipal Relief Program, APP, Round 5 program. This is a reimbursable grant up to $250,000 with no local match required. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Seager, second by Alderman Kirkwood. Are there any questions to this motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Motion to authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with the FEMA Assistance for Firefighters Grant, AFG, Fire Prevention and Safety. FP&S program. This is a reimbursable grant up to $200,000 with a required local match of $20,000. Going to take a motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Motion to authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with the FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant, AFG. This is a reimbursable grant up to $54,140 with a required local match of $4,922. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Rivera. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Motion to authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with the North Shore Gas Company Smoke Detector and Carbon Monoxide Grant Program. This is a reimbursable grant up to $2,500 with no local match. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Seager, second by Alderman Rivera. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. My item S, motion to authorize the fire chief to make formal application for a grant with the Walmart Community Grant Program. This is a grant for payments made directly to vendors on the city's behalf. So there is no anticipated expenditure of city funds. Are there, let me say, a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Seager. Are any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item T, motion to authorize the Public Works Director to make formal application for a grant with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. This is a reimbursable grant, and as current assessments are ongoing, the dollar value is not known at this time. I'm going to take a motion by Alderman Kirkwood, second by Alderman Rivera. And I spoke with Mr. Hewitt regarding this item a little earlier. And if it supersedes our, let me see if I get this right, our $150 per unit cost, he will not go for it if we do not have the funds. Mr. Hewitt, did you want to speak with regarding this item, the ComEd?
It's a grant ComEd's putting out, and like anything else, you have to apply, of course. But this gives us the option, and they can give us pricing on what they're going to pay for. Like if they want to put a head on a light and the bulbs, and any of the projects on some of the lighting we haven't done yet. So what they do is give us a price, and we can see if that price is adequate to be paid for 100%. We know that around it's $120 to $150 per light, but we want to make sure that there's no cost to us. In other words, if that's the price and they're going to get it for less than that, we accept it. If not, and it starts to cost us money, we will not do it. We'll do it in-house. Okay?
Thank you. Are there any other questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item 3, reports and communications. Ms. Mogelski, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so we've included in your packet all of the standard monthly reports. I know we've been at this almost an hour, and we did have an executive session plan. So Madam Chair, do you want me to go through each report, or do you want me to just field questions if there are any from the committee?
Are there any questions to the committee, from the committee regarding the reports? They're right here so we can go through them. Are we going into exec session?
I believe that between Ms. Morales and I, we can at least cover the topics, the reports that we have to date. Unfortunately, it looks like the auditor wasn't available to join us, but we can certainly review the reports if the committee would like to.
That's fair. Are we gonna have a breakout room, Mr. Eric? Okay. All right,
Yeah.
I'll take a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
A motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Kirkwood to go into executive session. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Rivera,
Aye.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. 6:08. Is everyone back? Alderman Kirkwood?
All you need is the committee itself. You don't need all the extra aldermen.
Oh, okay. Take a motion by Alderman Rivera. Second by, I need somebody that's on the committee.
You do need that.
We lost them in cyberspace.
Alderman Kirkwood. Take a motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Kirkwood to adjourn at 6:35. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood. I'll come back to him. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
I do not see Alderman Seager.
There
There
he
he
is.
is.
Alderman Seager, motion to adjourn. Your vote, please.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in a half an hour.
Thank you.
We got 20 minutes.